So then we have Gene Okerlund interviewing Big John Studd and Bobby Heenan. Studd says that Andre won't be able to slam him and it'll be Andre's last match coming up. Okerlund seems very interested in the bag of money with the $15,000 in it. He constantly wants to finger the money in there. Heenan has to tell him to get off the money again and again and again throughout this. Cracking stuff. We don't get a pre-match interview with Andre the Giant. We go straight to the $15,000 slam challenge contest, which goes just under 6 minutes and ends when Andre gets Big John Studd up for the slam and therefore has won. If Andre had not been able to slam Studd, he would have had to retire. And Andre then gets hold of the bag of money, starts to throw it out to the crowd until Bobby Heenan sneaks up behind him, grabs it, and then runs away.
Just before the match, they cut to Alfred Hayes, who says, "I'm now on to an intriguing match, if I may even use the word." Of course you can. You can say whatever you want, Alfred Hayes.
No, Alfred, you're not allowed to use any words but the people who are in the match and the words, and now Gene. That's all you're allowed to say.
And also a note on the old Stud Muffin and Heenan's promo, because of the Gene Okerlund stuff with the money. It's best so far. It is great stuff. And this was like, you've got Heenan and Okerlund. You've just got a little glimpse into that chemistry that they'd have for all those years when Okerlund would be interviewing. Oh, lovely. Great stuff. And this is the thing that Matt's not got as well. Is you've not got the memories of what comes as well. So there's a lot of like little things where I'm just like, oh, this is lovely. Because then they move on to this. Great stuff. Yes. WrestleMania.
Oh, man, did you enjoy the match at all?
Oh, you know what? I did. Because this is exactly what it's going to be. I love the fact that I've heard this loads of times as well, that Andre the Giant hated Big John Studd, by all accounts. And I think because I have heard this, it gave extra impact to the chops that he gives him. They're not Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels chops. They're not hand chops. They are side of the hand chops. And they look absolutely brutal. But this is effectively Andre the Giant having a lovely time with Big John Studd, lobbing him around, kicking him. He kicks his left leg. Don't know why he's working over the left leg. No one knows. But the commentators seem very keen on pointing it out at the end as well, into replays of the kicks to the leg, which is great stuff. There's nothing special in this. Let's be honest, there was never going to be anything special in this. But it's all worth it for the pop when Andre picks up Big John Studd. It is sensational, the pop. That's the only word I can think to describe it. And it really hit home for me just how enormous a star Andre was. We watched WrestleMania 7 and he comes down and he's in very poor health at that point. And he comes down and the crowd absolutely love him. You obviously get like the moment that I think many wrestling fans know him for is WrestleMania 3, where Hogan hits on him. The slam heard around the world, which is a phrase that Jesse uses at the end of this match to describe the slam given to John Studd. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'll be honest. It was just a bit of nothing up until the slam. And then you get, like you said, Tinky, the moment with the money. Andre looks happier than I've ever seen him in this. And then we'll get to the promo afterwards. Just really nice. Just nice to see. Go on, Andre.
I'm probably going to be pretty much the polar opposite of almost everything you just said there. This is really where I started to get really, really irritated and just lost it. We talked about it earlier, people wanted to be able to see if Andre was going to be able to slam in. That was like the sell of the match. And to be blunt, I didn't care. If that was the selling point of the match, I did not care. I was thinking, well, of course he's probably going to. So immediately that was me taken out of the concept of the match because I thought, I bet any money he's going to. So that didn't appeal to me. And yeah, it was all about getting to that. So that took it away from me. And I'm going to say something that is probably not all that popular, but hey, that's gonna lay down the facts for you. Like I said earlier, do you know what? I don't like Andre the Giant. I'm not a fan. I get why he's seen as important, and like I've said before, in other shows, that I've seen the Andre the Giant documentary that was on Sky or something a couple of years ago. Still one of the best wrestling documentaries I've ever seen. So it was a fascinating look into him. But I'm not a fan of Andre's. It's one of those, when I see his name on a show, I think, okay. It's almost the antithesis of what we've been discussing of what I expect to see. I know, again, we're in different times and it's hard. It is hard for me to try and put myself in that mindset. I'm not going to get an amazing match out of Andre the Giant, but still part of me is thinking, I want to see something. And I just find him so boring. There's just something there. I almost switch off when I see that Andre is on the show. And I know that's not going to be popular, but you know what? Tough.
I think most people will agree with you, to be honest, because, again, if you're watching it through modern eyes, there's not a lot here. There's really not a lot here. It is not. And to be honest, even at the time, it's not a particularly good match. But again, it doesn't matter. That is not what this show's judged on at the time. It's the pop. It's people wanting to see Andre, buying tickets to see Andre. Andre, who prior to 1980, well, probably prior to this show, really, was probably the biggest wrestling star in the world, bar none. Because at the time, you still had a relatively regional setup. Even the WWF hadn't fully gone national by this point. And Andre was one of the few people who could sell tickets anywhere in the country. He was also someone who could sell in Japan and in Europe and all over the world, basically. So there wasn't anybody as big as Andre the Giant in terms of being a star. And that's what mattered, really, and getting people in. So I can completely understand why you wouldn't enjoy watching him. But I think it's kind of like there are some old films, for example, that I struggle to watch because they're slower paced or the production values obviously are not as good because they're really old or whatever. But you watch them and there's just an acknowledgement of the reason why it was important or the reason why it was at the time considered progressed to the industry in some way. Same goes for certain music that maybe has come many, many years in the past. This is one of those things where you kind of almost have to accept that this isn't necessarily what you watch wrestling for in 2022, but in 1985, this is still a draw for people, regardless of even if, it's not particularly good. It's still a draw to a large section of a lot of people across the wrestling business.
You're absolutely right, and it's one of those things because I can totally appreciate it because I like to think when I was a kid, being able to see the likes of the Big Show, I wanted to be able to go see WWE live, just be like, oh my god, whoa, it's the Big Show, just to be able to say that you've seen somebody that big and in person. So I totally get how we would have been a ticket seller from that point. But yeah, like I said, it's just with my current modern eyes, it's just as soon as I see just his name on a card, I'm just like, it's just, I don't know. Like there was some sort of humorous things I managed to get out of it, like you said, oh man, like I heard that, again, from the same documentary that, Andre and Big John Studd didn't get on. And to see him just ragdoll him in the corner, I genuinely feared for the poor bugger's life at that point. But yeah, aside from that, just, whenever I see Andre, I'm like, no thanks.
So in terms of my thoughts on this match, I actually agree with you, Matt. I don't think it's very good. I think it's pretty dull. I think there's not much to it until the slam. It's Andre though, isn't it? It's Andre the Giant. It's hard to argue with it.
Sorry, I forgot to say Andre's my MVP.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Andre's still on the screen after this because he sort of meets up with Gene Oakland at the entranceway, and Andre says that he doesn't care about the money. He slammed Big John Studd, and that's all that matters. Andre says he's not yet ready to retire.
Yes.
Thank God.
I think the reason why I enjoyed this, and I enjoyed seeing Andre like this, is that most of the stuff I've seen, he's playing a heel, and you don't really get any personality out of him. And I think you get a little bit of that, and he genuinely looks delighted with life. And again, the stuff that I've seen of him, like WrestleMania 3, which is only 2 years after this, he can barely move. When he's in the match with Hogan at WrestleMania 4, it's like watching a geriatric grandpa. The way that his body must decline very rapidly after this. It's just nice to see him happy.